You'll get the hang of it out there, lad. For all our sparring practice, there's no teacher like the real thing. Now then, I have something for you. Please, I insist. I want your love of history to grow, not just your love of warfare. Besides, maybe you can finish out the rest of it. Keep at it, lad. I've known great men throughout my life, and I can always tell when someone's better than their circumstances. Fight like I'd fight out there. Hey, lad. You're back. You've returned. A moment, lad? Hail. I'm sure I wouldn't, lad. Though if I happen to run into them, I'll let them know. I understand you've made it all the way to Asphodel of late, haven't you, lad? No reason in particular, just that it brings me joy to hear of your progress. I'd ask you join me for a drink, lad, but I know you've a task ahead of you, and liquor dulls the senses. Fortunately so, under most circumstances except yours. Leave me to it, will you? And I'll have one for the both of us. What? For me? I can't accept something like this, lad, you know that. My word. How very kind of you to think of me with that there, lad. No, this is for me. You really shouldn't have. You're spoiling me rotten. Remember your training, lad. I've not the faintest doubt that you can do this. Go forth, lad, and do as you must. I'll keep an eye on things while you go away. Don't tarry longer than you need to, lad. I've nothing left to teach you, lad. Fight as though you've but one life to live. Fight like I'd fight out there. Don't come back any time soon if you can help it, lad. Let your instincts take over while you're out there. The house is secure, lad. Go. Experience is the greatest teacher, lad. Get back out and finish what you started, lad. Nix and I have matters here under control. Mistakes are opportunities for learning, lad. Go to your room, Zagreus. I have your back, no matter what. Ready yourself, lad, and give it another attempt. There's no such thing as lesser gods, lad. If ever there's something I can do, you need but ask. There's nothing you cannot achieve. I'm sure of it. Do not throw away your life as I did mine, lad. It brings me joy knowing you found something worth fighting for. You have this, lad. The fates be damned. You have a good heart, lad. Keep listening to it. Yes, lad? Zagreus? Something you require? I'll give it my all. Be well. Be strong. Prince. Your Highness. Ah, now this is something, lad. I'd hate to think that you've returned to bring me this just for my sake. Though I'm grateful, really. Lad, all this generosity, I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I'm alone, yes, but my heart belongs to another. Ever since I was alive. I hope you understand. Thank you then, and do not worry about me. I'm long since past my sorrow, and the rage I felt when first my heart was broken. Now it's but another scar. They say it's our scars that give us character. I'm going to be the envy of the house with this, I thank you, lad. I hope you wouldn't mind if I shared some of it around. Are you most certain you have time for me now, lad? Though how could I decline? I'll see you there. I was a fool, you see. The gods promised me eternal glory beyond death. I could have stayed out of the war. Stayed home with Patroclus. I threw everything away. And sent so very many to this place. It isn't glory anymore, lad. I'm sure of that. Patroclus, however, I fear he's gone to me forever. Although his shade might yet reside within this realm, we left on terms I'd not forgive if I were him. Though, I had better get back to my post now, I think. I hope I didn't cast a greater pall over this place back there. I'm very thankful that we had this chance to get caught up. Now you had best be off. Take care out there. This really is for me? You beat me to it then, as I had meant to give you this when next we spoke. Please, take it. Don't worry about me, lad. Your father's still getting caught up with work that I created for him in my mortal days. Besides, there's nothing he can take from me. We have a mutual arrangement, he and I. We could have been no closer. The ashes of our bodies yet mingled together somewhere on the surface there. What can I tell you, lad? I loved him with all my heart. And he left me too soon. I tried, lad. I have tried. On both accounts. What you propose is not that simple, it turns out. You've seen what it is like out there. It's difficult to find one's way. But I shall tell you what. If you see Patroclus among the countless shades, you tell him I said hi. I've done the best I could preparing him, though I'm fearful it was not enough. No one ever has escaped this place. Oh, fear not, Orpheus. I was quite boastful of my day. And would you look at where it got me? Besides, I've not the imagination to come up with tales as tall as those of our Prince Zagreus. The goddess of the hunt herself said that. That's very flattering to hear. Good thing she doesn't know I'm all washed up by now. Her memory is of my glory days. Admires me, does she? Sometimes, lad, I think that Aphrodite is the mightiest of all the gods. Her power is what spurs us all to action, whether to love or war, or sometimes both the two. I'm grateful for the message. Your enemy is not the wretched dead, and not your father, lad. It is the underworld itself. It has been fashioned to prevent escape. You must have seen by now how all the chambers seem to rearrange themselves. Your extended family, the Olympians, they wish to help you from this place, don't they? I just hope that their intentions are as pure as they appear. They don't get on well with your father. I'm pleased to hear you say that. I've known too many far too proud to accept help, even when it was sorely needed. You just be careful, lad. The sealed weapons by your chambers. Your father won't observe their absence, I don't think. They remind him of a time he stood together with his brothers and sisters. He wants nothing more to do with any of that. I think it's fitting you've inherited their power. You're getting somewhere with that codex, lad. I'm pleased to see it. My duties to the house have meant that lately I can't travel quite as much as once I did. I only wish you could have seen it, lad. The place looked like a vineyard after a typhoon. Your lord father was livid, but he never gets so angry with the dog. Poor Dusa, though, she's picking the place up. You know I'd do just about anything to aid you, lad, but my ability to do so hinges on me sticking to my post. Though if I do catch wind of anything back there requiring attention, you shall know. Well, look at you, lad, with that codex brimming with our history. I knew I could rely on you to fill it out. Back when I was alive, why, no one would have ever believed what goes on down here. But they had their stories, definitely so. They fear your father, understandably. They also fear your dog. But most of them know precious little else. Even their fears, I think, are born of ignorance, as most fears tend to be. That I believe he is, lad. Your father, he was none too pleased with him last time I saw him here. I tried my best to simmer down the situation, but you know how it goes. I hope your father cuts his sentence short. I'm guessing not. Never knew him when we were alive, but since we met, he's always been the melancholy sort. The few times I heard him sing, though, it was beautiful. I'm not surprised your father's kept him here. You asked I train him, master. Prepare him for life's labors. You ordered it. Now you admonish me. What would you have me do? He's right, lad. I have taken sides. But as for you not wanting anything to happen, well, I know what you meant. I don't want you to say such things again. Do you understand? You're doing this because something here needs to happen. Hold back your fear. It is, mistress. I'm glad you're here, as maybe you can help me quickly to dispose of it. I realize that, mistress. It's just, I think we've other matters to attend to, such as emptying the contents of this contraband. They have not earned the right, lad, nor expressed any desire to exist here with the rest of us. Your father has assigned them to specific roles that suit their dispositions. They're not as sensible as Megara, in my experience. You saw that Thanatos is back, didn't you, lad? He's been over there brooding, when he's around at least. I haven't seen you in a while, lad. You made it to Elysium last time, didn't you? Your father's marshaled the most willing ones to deal with you. Doubtless there's much at stake in it for them, if but the pride of having done the task. Although I think that pride will always be their weakness. How fare your labors, lad? You have a certain look about you. Everything all right? What? Yes. I knew Patroclus. Is he all right? Please send him my regards. And all my love. I think of him always, but I cannot see him any longer. And you mustn't ask me why, do you understand? Now, leave me be, please, lad. I need some time. Oh. Well, then, please send him my regards. And all my love. I think of him always, but I cannot see him any longer. And you mustn't ask me why, do you understand? Now, leave me be, please, lad. I need some time. Hey, listen a moment, lad. I require your discretion with regards to whom we spoke about last time. The Shade you met with at Elysium. Simply put, he is the reason that I'm here. Patroclus lost his life before I did, because of me. I shortly followed, in a rage. When I arrived here, I received a hero's welcome. Your father himself ushered me to Elysium. But that's not what I wanted. I signed a pact, lad. Felt the terms were good enough. He could live there, while I'd live here, at least for now. Such deals are most uncommon, and their confidentiality must be upheld. But let's speak no more of this for now, all right? Some other time. You must safeguard the details of it, lad. Although it's not as bad as you make out. I ensured Patroclus is provided for. We wouldn't have been together anyway. Initially, he wasn't sent into Elysium, you see. You've other pressing matters to attend to, lad. And Patroclus and I have ample time to wait this out. I know you mean well, but do not discuss this matter with your father now. I fear that it could make things worse. Do you understand? I tried, lad. I have tried. On both accounts. What you propose is not that simple, it turns out. But I shall tell you what. When next you see Patroclus on your journeys, you keep speaking to him for me, won't you? No, lad. I was that sort, I think, but he was not. He was one of the only men I knew who did not look upon me as a threat. He saw something in me I never knew was there, and in turn, with him, I felt, how to describe it, calm, whole. He had this wry humor about him, like he was wise beyond his years, a quality I trust shall see him through his struggles now, although I hoped residing at Elysium would mean he wouldn't have to struggle any longer. Ah, that is a private matter for me, lad. From a time I had convinced myself the Codex would be for my own eyes alone. My past is not really worth mentioning. And I'm presently on duty, so, begging your pardon, please. Ah, you have to understand, lad. I've been here in your father's realm for quite some time. My documented learnings became bound to me, much like this spear, you see. You can undo those bindings over time. Thus, my knowledge can be yours, whatever it amounts to. I couldn't help but notice, lad, that Cerberus has been away for quite some time. Turns out your father's put him back to work above. I truly hope you shall not have to come to blows. That's good, then. Glad to hear it. I saw your father storm out of the house in his regalia, so he must have confronted you himself at last. I see that must have not gone well. You were so close. Don't lose heart, lad. I did not train your father, only you. He is a god, but he is just a god. If you'll forgive my bit of treason there. I wouldn't know of what you mean there, lad. For there are certain subjects so forbidden here right now that not even rumors can take hold. But just between us for the time, congratulations. Truly. Indeed, lad. I don't wish to presume, lad, but you seem more glum than usual. What's weighing on you there, if you don't mind? Look, all mortal life is fragile. It simply is a struggle to survive. Sooner or later it fails to succeed, and then it ends up here. And we have room enough for everyone, even the satyrs and the vermin of the world. I scarce remember it, my friend, although your songs do stir up memories sometimes. I'm used to things the way they are, I think. But you, not so much? Now that you mention it, I can't. Something like that. They seem alive, don't they? Taking everything in. I think they long predate even your father's time. Some have seen many different owners. Chances are you shall not be the last. I have to say, lad, this place is livelier than usual of late. Some of the old fixtures of the house getting patched up, new furnishings. It's rather nice, really. We've you to thank, don't we? And the funds. Your father runs the underworld a certain way. This old house is lavish, I suppose, but he has long since ceased trying to make it livable at all. So the changes are appreciated. That one Skelly, was it? We only met when all this business of escape began. If I have a connection to him, I'm unaware. Does he claim to know me? Perhaps I slew him when we were alive. Perhaps the gods of Olympus sent him to your aid? Their methods can be odd, and there are many who support you. Regardless, he does not appear to be your father's spy, if that is your concern. Meant to tell you, recently I noticed Megara, and I believe I saw the faintest smile play across her lips. That anything to do with you, perhaps? Not asking for specifics, mind. Perhaps with time I've grown keen to more than just the weaknesses of my enemies on the battlefield. Especially since I don't have those anymore. I'm happy for you, lad. The two of you. I have to tell you something, lad. When Thanatos returned to seek you out, I was very concerned. Not just for you, either. But you've since patched things up. Oh, on the contrary, I think I know exactly what you mean. I don't know Thanatos particularly well. It wasn't he who brought me here, you see. And he was always very busy, like your father. But he always struck me as a decent sort. I've never met him, no. Your father keeps him fully occupied with building out his underworld, and renovating constantly. No wonder some of his old crafting tools are strewn about. I take it you've been able to make use of them? I have to say, lad, authorizing transfer of the fated list from the old archives straight into your chambers. Bold of you. And right beneath your father's nose at that. Well, that's the spirit, I suppose. If there's one thing I know, it's that the three fates always get their way. But if you wish to help them go about it, then perhaps they'll pay you back in kind. As far as I know, yes, lad, that it is. Though whose exactly, I'm not so sure. You'd best hang on to it and keep it safe. Your weapons. They shall thirst for it and drink it up. Not yet, perhaps, but soon. The drink of the gods. I hear it's good, all right, but only for recipients with whom you're close. Perhaps hang on to it until it's ripe for use? Somebody would be grateful, I am sure. Or it could fetch you something from the wretched broker over there. Oh, don't say that. It isn't every day or night when one discovers that his closest friend has had it with his temperamental father and decided to leave home. I think he's struggling with what to make of it. Be gentle with him, will you? I know the chariot you mean. It's not just any Macedonian. It's modified, apparently by Daedalus himself. No earthly weapons can do what it does. Though, please don't tell me Theseus put on that mask. Well, I think that Daedalus would certainly agree. Heard that he fashioned that mask and outfit as a little joke. For someone deeply prideful and well unaware. It must have suited Theseus quite well then, yes? Hold just a moment, lad. That look. I think I know it all too well. Things getting complicated for you lately, then? I think she likes you more than she lets on. You have a certain way, besides. I know you two got off to a rough start, and circumstances lately haven't helped. But if you love her, follow your heart. If you don't, then cease with giving her such lavish gifts, I ought to think. No need to send the wrong impression, and there is nothing to be gained from such an empty gesture anyhow. I think he cares for you more deeply than you know. You have a certain way, besides. It has been difficult between you two, and circumstances lately haven't helped. But if you love him, follow your heart. You haven't, no. And it is not my business to presume too much. Nevertheless, if your friendship with Thanatos is bounded, then I would suggest you cease with giving him more lavish gifts. No need to send the wrong impression, right? Oh, nonsense, lad. If you're a god, then you're the god of something, I'm sure. It's just an observation, and I genuinely hope it's no offense. But see, your father and your mother, and your bloodstones and your disposition. I think I see that look again, if I'm not mistaken in it, lad. What's on your mind? If you'd like to share, I'm listening. So we often told each other, yes. But you're not like us mortals, or us shades. Nor are most of the others here. You gods, I cannot think of even one who had a single mate. Although your father, maybe he is one. Well, I of course don't know so very much about him, lad. But that's the way of it from what I've learned. You needn't follow in his footsteps, though. I think you know that well enough by now. If I may presume a bit, I gather that they share by now the feelings that you have for each of them. Each in their respective way, of course. If you love them, one, the other, perhaps both, I mean your gods, follow your heart. Wherever it should lead, that's how it works. Yours to decide when you've gone as far as you ought, and cease with the lavish gifts. No need to send the wrong impression, and there's nothing to be gained from such an empty gesture anyhow, right? You have a worried look about you, lad. Spare me your thoughts. All gods and goddesses are to be feared. Demeter, she has the power to give life, or take it. Seems she's more interested in the latter, though. She's the eldest on Olympus, and your father seems to harbor a particular dislike for her. I don't know why. Be careful. A word, Prince? Your Highness, over here. Oh, there you are, Highness. As you may know, lad, I've a connection to the weapons that you use, having once wielded one of them myself. Of course, not knowing its significance back then, but I digress. Sometimes it keeps in touch, and I've a vision from it to impart. Well, I saw a great, bearded warrior, bigger than me, pitch-black hair, bearing an aspect of Varatha unlike any with which I'm familiar. Then he was gone, but what still lingered were these words. I see you through the eyes of the Crimson Phoenix. There's one more thing. This was not my first such vision. Long ago, I saw one of Varatha's other bearers. It was you. Your infernal arms, they must be weapons of the Fates' design. They know already who shall brandish them. Now they ask a favor. Seek Varatha. Speak the words. Go. No, I don't think so, lad. I don't know who this Guan Yu is or where he's from, or even when he's from. But the Fates must have a plan for him and you. Anyway, I think my part in this is ended. Varatha served you well, no? I trusted it in life. I trust it now. Fear is for the weak. The empty hand has more destructive force than any weapon, lad. It is the only weapon that can wield all others, and without it, all others are nearly powerless. The twin fists are a testament to that. Use them with care. Don't lose your head out there. A future leader among men wielding that blade. The mysteries of the infernal arms run deep, don't they? Although it seems that you and Stygius formed quite a bond. Many lay claim to peerlessness with bows in my experience there, lad, although I'm not to judge a vision from an ancient weapon such as that. I hope this Rama shall use his weapon wisely when the time comes. Same as you. I have to thank you for the mirror back there, lad. Lets me get a better look at things out in the Great Hall every now and then. Oh, certainly, it's an important corridor. Think of it. If just any shade could pass through either of those doors back there. Your father's barely keeping it together as it is. Hold, lad. You've regained access to the administrative chamber, right? I never thought you'd want to go in there again. Suppose I can see that. Well then, on my quite limited authority, it pleases me to say, you may proceed. I know you mean well, lad, and from the bottom of my heart, where once it was, I thank you truly for the thought. However, don't exert your influence on this. Not now, at least. The Fates can twist intentions. I don't want to take the risk. In my recent audience with Nyx, lad, she let on that you have mentioned chaos as of late. Is it true you've met her parent yourself? I know a little bit, I think. Nyx, she and Chaos, they just slowly drifted apart. No animosity, not anymore at least. It happens between parents and children. And once such ties are severed, they cannot always be restored. Especially among primordial gods as old as time, I suppose. It can be harder than you know. For someone like Nyx, she was responsible for no small part of creation herself. As her relationship with Chaos grew more strained, she gave birth to strife, misery, doom, sons and daughters you don't hear about too much. I don't know, lad. On the surface, I suppose. My point is, Nyx had her own problems to contend with, dealing with her brood, governing the underworld all on her own before your father arrived. Her relationship with Chaos suffered for it. Lad, I heard from Nyx. She said that she was able recently to re-establish contact with Chaos, thanks to you. You're just full of surprises, reforging old bonds between primordial gods like it was nothing. I think they're plenty capable of missing their loved ones, lad. The amount of time that either of us have existed, it's nothing compared to either of them. Imagine being apart from someone you care about for that long. Suggest you hurry in there, lad. Talk later. Let's not keep your father waiting. Well, perhaps we all want what we cannot have. Other than that, I suppose certain documents or records in there could be of some benefit under the circumstances, right? Can't let you in there, lad. Off limits, I'm afraid. You know your father's rules. Come on, lad. Locked for a reason, lad. Not permitted there. House rules, lad. Has to stay shut like that. No use in trying, lad. Not going to open, lad. Until he died. I did refuse to fight until he died. But at that point... Look, lad, if we're going to discuss these matters, best we do so in the lounge, not here. The fool of a king I served. I'd never take up arms for him. But Patroclus, he always had a different way of looking at things. As I refused to fight, he rose to the occasion, took up my armor, led my brothers into battle in my guise, fought nobly. But then well, that I did. They got me finally, of course, but not before I broke them first. The war soon ended after that. It is an awful contradiction that to quickly end war, one need only extinguish many lives at once. I had not realized it at the time. I don't know. Maybe. I only know that I was filled with rage. Rage that subsided soon after I arrived here. I felt empty. I never saw Patroclus again. But I learned my brothers honored my last request, as my ashes were laid to rest with his. Anyway, appreciate the drink. Suppose I'd best be getting back to standing quietly about. Though that war, lad. Don't ask me about it again. All right? How is he anyway, if you've encountered him of late during your journeys, lad? The fallen warrior you've run into in Elysium, that is. You told him then. Without requesting my consent to tell him first. What exactly did you say to him? You're right, I should have specified. Or shouldn't have. Because what you said probably is for the best. I didn't mean to lose my temper with you, lad, it's just... Look, thank you for looking out for him. For both of us. Just please be careful. To risk it all. He said to risk it all. When last he said to risk it all to me, I didn't listen to him then, but should have. I should have. No, he's giving me another chance, I think. Leave me, lad, for now. Thank you for telling me. I'm getting there, lad. In battle, I would operate on instincts, make snap judgments almost instantly. In other matters, though, I need some time. Your patience, please. I'll let you know if I can figure something out. I need your help with something, lad. As I'm about to risk it all, I think. Will you hear me out? The pact I signed with your father. It must be buried somewhere down in the administrative chamber there. I dared not ask that you locate it, out of fear that tampering with it would only make things worse, except... Indeed. Besides, your father has been more abiding than I expected with how you were able to nullify the Knave King sentence. So perhaps my case isn't a lost cause yet. Indeed. Besides, your father has been more abiding than I expected with how you were able to void the pact that separated Orpheus and Eurydice, so perhaps my case isn't a lost cause yet. Indeed. Besides, your father has been more abiding than I expected with how you were able to nullify the terms for Orpheus and Sisyphus alike, so perhaps my case isn't a lost cause yet. You have my thanks. I've nothing if not patience, lad, and I shall try to keep my hopes in check. Thank you for your effort around this. When next we speak of it, may be when you've succeeded. What are you... You're serious. I'm able to go. You're right, I feel it. I'm unbound. So I can simply leave. Right now. I should get going then, although I'm unprepared. I didn't think it would come to this. Not that I had no faith in you, it's just fear is for the weak. Farewell for now, lad. I can't thank you enough. I thought we might run into you, but how strange to see you face to face out here, lad. To see this place myself. I still can't quite believe any of this. I reached more or less the same conclusion, Pat. I think I'd rather maintain watch over a nearly empty hall than battle all the shades around here, Pat. Why, look who. Ha! Ha! Hello, lad. Look, Pat. We've a guest. Ah, you're here. How goes it, lad? Come all this way, huh? Fight on. Farewell. Farewell, lad. Till we meet again. Fight like I'd fight out there. Good journey. Fear is for the weak. We'll see you. Come, lad. No mood for sparring, lad. Not now, lad. I've fought enough, I think. Rest while you're able. Not here to fight you, lad. No thank you. It went well, lad. As well as I could have hoped. Better than I might have feared. Hey, don't take Patroclus calling you stranger personally, all right? He has less charitable terms for those he doesn't care for. Haha, well, thankfully your efforts meant that no words really needed to be said when I arrived. He simply said my name. Then we just were. Two souls, together in one spot. The way shades linger. It looks mournful, right? But it isn't always. Lots of making up for lost time. And finally we have some time to spare. It's odd, because so many of my memories of him are from a time of war. Now we can make new memories, in peace. Anyway, see you out there again sometime, I hope? As far as I'm aware, yes, Master. I'm sworn eternally here to this house, except it seems I'm now at liberty to see Elysium from time to time. While off duty, of course. Yes, Master. Thank you. Mistress, for certain it is more than I deserve. Although, perhaps it's for the best that a forgotten shade ought to be put out with the rest of them. I shall not cause you so much trouble, then. Of course, mistress, I shall. By your command. Ambrosia. Well, I'm honored, lad, truly. Although it's I who ought to be bestowing thoughtful gifts upon you for what you've done for me, not the other way around. And I happen to have one here, on Pat's and my behalf. I suppose this must be what it's like to be a god, lad, being shown affection such as this, and getting offerings. Are you quite sure? Come now, lad. Admittedly, I was quite good at it, but I was nothing other than a killer. I would be wary of all my advice if I were you. Oh, thank you, lad. Prince. Zagreus. You really oughtn't to have. In fact, I shall accept this from you once again, but not a bottle more. We do enjoy it, quite a bit, in fact. But in Elysium, it's something to be earned more than accepted, and, well, perhaps in being there, a bit of our old pride is coming back. If, indeed, I've something to be proud of, lad, it's that someone such as you can say a thing like that to me, and mean it. And then, when that pig-headed braggart ordered me to do it, I swear, more than quite sure indeed. Well, I suppose you're right. Oh, come on, you can fight better than that. Indeed it is. You're right. You're right. We do. Ah, yes. Indeed. I do believe it is. Here. On our way. Ready. We hear you. We hear you, lad. Yes, lad. We'll be right there. Be right there. Steady, lad. This shall be quick. Patroclus. Now, Patroclus. Let's go, Pat. Now, Pat. Let's go. Now. Attack. To battle. Shall we? Come on, Pat. Ready. Asterius. The bull of Minos. Why, it's the champion. Theseus causing trouble, lad? Time we unseated the champion. We're off. Keep fighting. Fight on, lad. Keep going. Now finish this. We've returned. We heed you, lad. Once more, then. Depends upon the dragon, I suppose. I've heard they differ all across the world. Though that's a fascinating find there, lad. This Beowulf. Sounds like he'll find a way to make good use of all that protective gear. Always preferred mobility myself, but then, to each his own. Huh. Perhaps it's from a time even before the Olympians rebelled against the Titans. But I've never heard of any Lucifer, with or without wings. Suggests to me perhaps that falling out of his did not work out so well. Nyx cut her off, lad. I'm sorry. I know you cared about her. I was as surprised as you when I found out. I knew that Nyx had her concerns about Zeus's propensity to overwork herself, but this wasn't the step I was expecting. Look, I don't have all the information on this one, and neither do you from the sound of things. Nyx loves you and respects you. I trust she would want to know how this affects you. She must have indeed, lad. I was pleased to see Zeus return. And you know what? I dare say she seemed rather well rested for a change. It might not have been the best of circumstances, though my hope is that some good has come of it. Master Chiron, truly. Ah, of course. He granted me a spear, I think you know. If he possessed one such weapon, why not more? I remember his bow shined like the sun. It was splendid, and never missed its mark, though I attributed that to Chiron's extraordinary skill. Be very wary of that spirit, lad. It was what brought me here before my time, although that spear indeed once served me well, a parting gift from my old master Chiron. He cautioned me as I am cautioning you, though may you be a better listener. I prayed mostly to my mother, lad. I always had my doubts the gods were listening, that they could even hear, though I suppose that if you make an offering they might be so inclined, just for the moment anyway. They're helping much. You really made it all the way? You must have gotten past your father. That's amazing, lad. But wait, what was she like? What happened to you there? But then you had a little time at least. Sounds like you have unfinished business with her there. You got to her this once. Surely you're able to again, isn't that right? What news this time, lad? Did you find your mother once again? Just take it easy now. You got there once. There isn't any question in my mind that you can do it once again. Your father's acting as though nothing's changed besides. So don't lose hope. You're capable of this. How did it go, lad? You've been gone a while. For good reason, I hope. Well, first of all, good work. I knew you had it in you. Secondly, you know what you have to do. Go find her, for as many chances as it takes. It's not just her you've sought. It's the answers to those questions that you have. So you can tell me in due time if you decide to, lad. But I do have a question, same as you did, going into this. Why did she leave? Why did she leave you in particular? Ah, that's quite a bit to take in there. And it explains more than a bit, I think. Look, I'm not one to speculate too much. I trust you'll find the answers that you seek as you proceed. What is it, lad? What's wrong? What can I do? That's high atop the list of things I'm not to do for anyone, and under any circumstances. What is it you need? I've never even been in there myself. All right, slow down, I understand. Look, this can get me in a lot of trouble like you've no idea. And not just me, so be careful and be quick while he's still out. Take this and go. Don't leave anything there out of place, all right? Find what you need. The Queen is back. You did it, lad. You must have lots of catching up to do. Or patching up. And I'm to understand that your escape attempts, they are officially approved, isn't that so? Well, then I look forward to working with you in a more formal capacity. And it is my sincerest hope that you, your mother, and your father learn to get on better with each other now. So, lad, tell me then, how went the family feast? Was everything all right? I quite enjoyed it too. Last time I was invited to a feast, I was still busy warring on the surface. That's how long it's been. I must say, your mother's quite good with words. Had everybody chatting, laughing. Don't dwell on that. I spoke a bit with Nyx. Your mother had her reasons. No one gets to act on perfect information, right? All we have is what we think we know, and what our conscience tells us. Your mother got to where all this was possible, all thanks to you. And what a fearsome chair leg it would be. In any case, you heading out there soon? Olympus should be more than happy to assist in your security review, if that's what we're calling it now. And you, in turn. Indeed, Your Grace. He was a talented student. If only you could have seen his progress, surely you would have been very proud. Oh, I doubt that. Although, thank you, Your Grace. Think nothing of it, lad. It was a risk I was willing to take. And for his part, your father looked the other way on that one. Though I did not expect you to get free rein to go there as you please. You raised him well, O Knight. You know that, I hope. Though I can't imagine even you could have expected this outcome. Thank you for making all this possible. For all of us. Oh, I don't know. I felt I had no choice either except to serve this house. At least at first. But in training the prince, preparing him, I felt like I was living for something again. As strange as that may sound. You are most kind, O Knight. To know for certain, I suppose you'd have to ask the fates themselves, and get an answer from them too. I asked myself, how come you found an aspect of mine among them all? What made me so special, do you suppose? Well, that's just it. I was quite famous, yes. Infamous, perhaps, but no matter. Perhaps it's just that these weapons demand to make themselves known, above all. To leave a lasting impression in the hands of their wielders. It sounds absurd when you put it quite like that, but yes. Yes, well, that was before I was reunited with Patroclus and had the opportunity to help you in a pinch with him at my side. I trust we were of some small service then. Lad, all this generosity, I'm just an old killer. Yet you treat me like I'm the one who's royalty around here. That's about the last thing I would have expected when first I set foot in this house. Thank you, then, and do not worry about me. I'm fortunate to be here, and besides, a teacher couldn't have asked for a better pupil. I have the strangest feeling, lad. You mind if... Can I see that codex there? It is complete. That's amazing. A chronicle of this place. Everything I've ever learned and felt. Ha, I suppose that's true. Hail, Prince. Hail, Prince. How goes it? Ah, were it not for you, Pat, I don't even like to think about what I'd have done. The war would have gone differently then, I suppose. Good to see you, lad. You've been awful busy as of late there, haven't you? Let me know if there's something I can do, though from what I can tell, you've had a pretty good handle on it. I'm afraid most of my tales revolve around bloodshed for one reason or another. I must admit, mistress, I've not enough experience against such a weapon to refute your claim. Quite fortunately so. As you say, mistress. Pardon us here, lad. I cannot ever repay you for what you have done, O knight. Know only that it is my honor to continue to serve at your pleasure here. Thank you, O knight. Quite a statue you commissioned over there. I suppose I can think of worse subjects than mighty Heracles for me to have to stand about and stare at. Only in passing. He once died a mortal's death, worse than mine. Had a brief stint down here, but he's favored by Olympus. Got a special arrangement of some sort, I heard. Haven't seen him since. I'm so impressed with what you've managed to accomplish, lad. When I was closer to your age, or the age you appear to be, all I wanted was glory, to be remembered forever. Look where that got me. I'm glad you know better than I did. A foolish war. Glory comes to those driven to excel in worthwhile pursuits. A happy side effect, not a goal unto itself. Though you don't need for me to tell you that. Well, you got me there. As soon as you slice into one of those things, it makes you cry. Don't you find that a bit unsettling, lad? I won't shed tears over a cut-up vegetable. I'll have to take your word for it. Between us, lad, I wish it wasn't. Was such a thing available to my enemies during my fighting days, I surely would have come here even sooner. But I trust you have the training to use it well. May it serve you as it served the fire goddess Hestia. She hasn't needed it in a while. I would be very careful, above all. Do you understand, lad? I would not wish to make things any worse. How many packs such as the one you're thinking of are buried back in the administrative chamber there? Even your father can't keep track. Although, perhaps Nyx can. Just watch yourself. Gilgamesh, you said. That name isn't familiar to me, but with these hidden aspects, there's bound to be a connection to the future or the past. Say, why is the Bull of Minos aiding you? I thought he was one of your rivals barring passage from Elysium. I know the type. Both types. Thought I'd put in a house contractor order to keep that codex of yours sorted, lad. Now that you know so many on Olympus, figured it must be a lot keeping track of all their blessings and such. Keep at it. You sure about this, lad? Apologies, master. Hope your father doesn't mind. Your father won't like this. Charon, of course. He has a stake in all that goes on in the underworld, and he probably thinks highly of you. This Skelly character, though, he must have been somebody if Charon's confided in him. Maybe both. I've met the sort.